the end goal being that you're impacting someone's life and it's going to be their everyday life. And I think that often gets lost in our industry. It's really just about making sure everything is perfect for that person and making sure they're as happy as possible, and nothing beats the end result and the final walkthrough every time. The final walkthrough is the best part. I've never met an unhappy client. My name's Katie Reid. I'm a design assistant, one of two design assistants at Henley Design. We're based out of Salem, Massachusetts, and we're a small residential interior design firm, kind of just focused on clients, not commercial, but mostly residential. Yeah, so I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I think as many people do when they go to college and graduate college, and the world is your oyster in some respects. I grew up in a household. My dad is a high-end general contractor and architect, and my mom worked for him. So I kind of grew up around this very high-end residential world of design and things that were always going on. And I was always at work with my dad, and I had no idea that I could even have a career in that field. It didn't really occur to me. I wasn't going to go there. I wasn't going to work for my dad. I wasn't going to do anything like that. My oldest brother took over the company, and now my middle brother works for him. And then I graduated college, was like, I'll absolutely not be working for my brother, and stumbled upon a small firm that was out of Beacon Hill. And I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. So why not try it out? So I was a design assistant for that firm for a year. And then I decided I was going to grow into another firm. And I found Henley, and I found Sarah, who is our principal and owner. And we hit it off right through the first 5 minutes of our phone call. I was like, this is perfect. I need to work here. Um, and so I went through the processes with her, and I got hired. And now I've been here for a year and a half, which is really exciting. And I've kind of grown through the growth of the company and seen a lot of changing things. And it's just been such a wonderful journey for my career. And I've really found a passion in the field, and I love my position in the firm, and I can't wait to grow inside the firm and with the firm. And then who knows what the future holds. But for right now, I'm very happy where I am.
That's cool.
And planning on being here for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's a really great boss. I think she's found this beautiful balance of being, in still young within the field and within a huge career, and being successful and being able to kind of describe the processes which got her there and got our firm there. We're 7 women, all under the age of 40. Which is really incredible with how much kind of success that she's seen and success that she's seen within her team. She really kind of holds us to a high standard of enjoying each other's presence and being together and learning from one another and working as a team and being this beautiful camaraderie that we have with each other and with our clients. And she has just built such a wonderful thing here, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. Yeah, it's definitely a balance. And as each project comes, it's really who Sarah will think will be best for the project based on the client, based on the size. And we're all in different positions, if you will. We have senior designers, we have design assistants, junior designers. And so there's kind of a mixture of all of us on a project, but really it's based on your strengths, but also how you work with the other people on that team, how you've done projects similar in the past, things like that. We kind of have this harmonious effect, and we all help each other out. I think we all work towards our strengths, and we all are working to be better within our strengths and within things that we're not as great at. But we also all work as a team. There's no one who's more important than another person. There's no one who does more work than someone else. It's all really works out in a balanced fashion. And I think Sarah really tries to push that forward and make sure that no one's overworked or underworked or stomping on each other's toes. And it's really just balanced and we all work great together. So it's not some big, huge process of who goes on what project. It's just, oh, okay, like Carly, who's the other design assistant, has this many projects right now that are of this size. Katie might have a little more time in April when we have this other project coming up. Let's put her on it, and just kind of that balance as we go forward with each project and taking a look at each one as its own individual thing. I think all of us love like just the kind of ground up situation of whether it's a home that already exists. We just did one of our largest construction projects with a new GC who we've been working with, who's been really great. And I think the itch is not in one particular space within a home, or if it is, it kind of turns out to be that way once we install it and we all go, oh my God, this is by far our favorite room in the house. But really we all, I think, equally are in love with the process. And our goal is to have projects where there's, small things. It's just a furnishings project. It's just one room. There's always going to be great things like that. But I think we've really found our niche in really from the studs to the carpet going on the floor. That kind of process has really been great for us. And we've worked really well as a team in that respect. And it was a huge project, but it was so rewarding and so fulfilling from the moment it started over a year ago to now. And we just installed it literally last week. And I think we all really enjoyed it. And we all had our strengths with it. We have a person who's just like insane at AutoCAD, and she was doing wonderful sketches of what it was going to look like for the client. And the client was so excited about it. And then I kind of work more towards the purchasing front and order management. And then we have our other team members who pull fabrics, and we all came together and everybody works each week on a process for the project. And we meet with the contractor. And for me, it was one of the first times that I've ever been within like lighting and electrical, meeting with a tile installer, things like that. So for me, it was a great learning process, and I've really appreciated being a part of it. I think it really relies on all of us coming together and having a sense of, where the home is located, what the bones are of it, what the client sees for the house, what we might see for the house, and finding this like beautiful, like intertwining vine plant of things that come into a beautiful flower in the end, if you will. But, we all work together as a team, and we source 100 different things that obviously you start with more like lighting and things like that, whatever goes into the home first, but we don't source necessarily around anything. We just kind of throw things out there, start putting furniture in a Google deck and working towards finding the end goal of what everything will be in the room. There's no one, a lot of designers work around like a hero fabric or one piece or do carpet first, things like that. I feel like we typically like to pick fabrics that we've been wanting to use, or it just came out that we had our eye on in the design center, and then we picked the rug based on those fabrics. But there's no real process. It's just kind of a bundle that comes into this like beautiful thing at the end. So recently, we've actually done a lot of banquettes in kitchen nooks or living room, like game nook areas. I feel like that's been a really big kind of design creativity strength for us recently. It kind of hits to all points for each team member that's on the project. So it starts off with the idea, okay, we're going to put a banquette here. Is it going to be built into the wall or the floor? Or is it going to be freestanding? We just did a built-in one at the project I was speaking to earlier, and working with, the mill shop and making sure the details on the end where it beautifully kind of flows into the floor and how that's going to get upholstered, things like that. And then we also did a freestanding one a year ago at a project in Rockport, and that was very detail oriented, and it really came out of one inspiration image. And we were like, we have to have this in this house. It was fit to this tiny little area that was going to be the game nook. Getting that over to the wood shop to make sure that they could build it properly, make sure all the dowel legs were going to be great. And then we pick how we're going to get it upholstered. So obviously it has to be strong if it's going somewhere like a kitchen. So fabric finishing is very important in that respect. So we typically pick like a performance fabric for the back cushion, but it's usually if it's a built-in banquette, it's a substrate that gets upholstered by our workroom. But we always send our fabrics to get finished by SBI first because knit backing is always necessary no matter where things are going. But it really just creates an extra bonding for the fabric and an extra layer of protection that it's going to really house the longevity of the piece and make sure that it stays intact for longer. And especially, this built-in one we just installed the other day is going to be with 4 kids, kind of a rambunctious family, and people are punching the substrates or spraying food around it. So making sure that things are protected and making sure that they're going to equal the long life that we want it to have, no matter what the kind of outside environmental factors that are going against it. And we always use SBI. We always make sure that it's protected by them. Definitely, it's designed to last. We always want our pieces to last. People are, paying for our services for a reason. They aren't going to buy some random like $10 couch off Amazon or whatever it is. They're looking for pieces that are going to be special to them and are also going to go along with their lifestyle, and they're going to last. Yeah, I think things are ever changing. We're in a non-stable industry, if you will. Like, it's not always going to be perfect and practical, but I think people are growing more fond of having designers in their lives. They see why they exist and the need for them when you are able to have one. But I think we are on a great trajectory as a company, and I think we've really grown in the last year and a half, especially since I came on board. And we've seen such a variety of projects and such a variety of clients that have kind of pushed us outside of our boundaries, but also helped us grow creatively and just as a team, and making sure our processes are working. There's always going to be trends in the industry. There's always going to be things that happen over and over again. But we try not to focus on that. I think we really are focused on things that are going to be classic for forever, traditional for forever, but not in the sense of expected. That's really kind of the whole point of having a designer. I think it's to break expectations and make sure you're getting something that's for your taste and that's for your home. We've really kind of tried to push that and be a great team about it and be sure that we have a great camaraderie with our client. We just kind of came up with acronyms for our team, and humility and humanitarianism came up as we were discussing it. And I think our team does a great job of understanding a client and befriending them in a certain sense, but still holding that professional boundary and making sure that our items are reflective of their personality and their home. And then also coming out and the end goal being that you're impacting someone's life and it's going to be their everyday life. And I think that often gets lost in our industry. People get caught up with how much money you're making, how many projects you have at one point, how big are your projects in comparison to other designers, things like that. And that's not the point. That's not why people come to us. It's really just about making sure everything is perfect for that person and making sure they're as happy as possible, and nothing beats the end result and the final walkthrough every time. The final walkthrough is the best part. I've never met an unhappy client.